Welcome to Talk of Africa 360, your source for insightful news, analysis, and thoughtful commentary. If you value informed perspectives and fact-based reporting, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss an update. Disclaimer: the content on this channel is based on reliable public sources and credible online information. It is intended strictly for educational and analytical purposes. We do not promote or endorse political violence, hate speech, or any form of discrimination. Our goal is to inform, not to inflame. Thanks for being here. Let's stay informed together. Through intelligence gathering, the regional branch of the Judicial Police in the Hautes-Bassins region learned of the existence of a clandestine factory producing counterfeit diesel fuel from used motor oil in the town of Bobo. Based on this information, an investigative team was immediately dispatched to the site for verification. On arrival, investigators discovered a compound housing several semi-industrial machines in full operation, 2 full tankers, 3 buried tanks, and sacks filled with various other substances. 4 individuals were arrested on the spot, including 2 foreign nationals identified as the factory manager and his production director. After the investigation, search and inventory were carried out, the installations were sealed, and the 2 tankers were seized for further investigation, under the orders of the public prosecutor. According to our investigation, the factory called UI had been operating secretly for over 2 years, with a Chinese national named ZZ as its CEO. For now, the business holds no authorization for establishment or commercial activity. The modus operandi began with the collection of used motor oil. These oils were then recycled and mixed with other substances such as caustic soda and sulfuric acid to produce a final product resembling diesel fuel. In this process, a person identified as TM, who holds a company registration number and serves as CEO of a local firm, was responsible for supplying the raw materials. He also distributed part of the production through wholesalers. For each filled tanker, he would issue an invoice in the name of his company, labeled treated waste oil. This invoice was handed to drivers to help them pass through various checkpoints up to the unloading site, located not far from the main market of Bobo-Dioulasso. Following this stage, a merchant known as Kuabibi was responsible for selling the product on the market. Clients who came to pick up the product had to seek official diesel purchase permits from the authorities, in line with the security measures imposed by the government. Once these permits were obtained, they would go to the plant for supply, thus allowing the product to circulate in the market, to avoid certain taxes, since the clandestine factory belonged to a foreigner, a man known as Bees. Currently on the run, reportedly offered to create false documents to cover the illegal activity. These documents were supposed to state that the factory produced recycled oil, under the pretext that tax costs for establishing a plant were higher for foreign nationals. However, instead of recycled oil, diesel fuel was being produced. Bibi admitted that he turned to this factory so as not to lose his customers. Since he did not meet the required standards and did not operate a gas station, he could not be supplied by Sonabi, the national hydrocarbon supplier, in his capacity as a private distributor. To keep his clientele, he chose to obtain fuel from the illegal factory. As the investigation continued, samples were sent for analysis by relevant authorities. The test results revealed that the diesel produced by the clandestine plant did not meet the specifications of diesel, kerosene, or even domestic fuel oil do. Therefore, it was unfit for consumption. Moreover, the production process failed to meet any hygiene, health, or environmental standards. The factory reportedly had a monthly production capacity between 30,000 and 50,000 liters. Based on figures shared by the main suspects, monthly revenue was estimated between 5 and 6 million CFA francs. The factory sold the fuel at 510 francs per liter to BB, who then resold it at 550 francs. BB in turn sold it to end customers at 650 francs per liter. Pending judicial decisions, these acts, given their nature, constitute multiple offenses, including money laundering, illegal business activity, consumer fraud, fuel fraud, tax evasion, endangerment of public health, conducting operations without prior environmental evaluation, and environmental harm through toxic waste dumping and soil and air pollution. Beyond these legal offenses, this illegal activity could also contribute to financing operations tied to terrorist organizations, as the final destination of the clandestine factory's fuel remains untraceable. Another dimension of the story continues to unfold in Burkina Faso. Pending legal proceedings, authorities say the operation could lead to charges including money laundering, illegal business activity, consumer deception, hydrocarbon fraud, tax evasion, public health endangerment, and environmental violations such as toxic waste dumping and pollution of air and soil. Even more alarming, Since the distribution routes of this counterfeit fuel remain unknown, there's a real concern that such operations could help fund terrorist activities. This is just one chapter in the complex and dangerous underground economy unfolding in Burkina Faso. As reactions continue to pour in from across the continent, one thing is clear. Africa is demanding respect, sovereignty, and accountability. Was this just a diplomatic misstep or a deeper sign of shifting global alliances? We'll be watching closely. If you found this story important, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more real, unfiltered African news. This is Talk of Africa 360, telling the stories that matter.